Now, instead of just cutting to New York, we actually see how they transport Kong to New York. After Carl says his line, we cut to him getting a random sailor to take a picture of him with a still camera he left on the ship. A couple of sailors that aren't fed up with him join him in the pic. A shit-eating grin comes on Carl's face. We fade to a quick montage of them building a raft out of driftwood and debris and bamboo big enough to carry Kong while also staying afloat. They'll also have sailors on the raft with food rations and gas bombs in case he wakes up, though the raft won't be too far behind the hunter. On the ship, Anne and Jack truly reunite, and although she feels bad for Kong, she still loves Jack, and as they kiss and try to calm down from that crazy experience they just had, Jack pops the question. They didn't know each other long, but in that time, he's changed a lot. He never usually showed his emotions and such, and Anne was the only one he felt comfortable showing that side to. He can look her in the eyes and not feel uncomfortable and angry. If she's not the one, he doesn't know who is. Needless to say, she accepts. When they make it back to New York, we get a shot of the hunter going back out to sea after Denham and anyone related to him and Jack have exited. Billy stands there staring at the city as the ship moves further away from it. Engelhorn comes up behind him and puts a hand on his shoulder. Billy does not cry, but his eyes are definitely glazed as he asks with his voice shaking, "What was it all for?" Engelhorn looks at him and sighs while shrugging. "Can't exactly say myself. There could be numerous reasons. Wealth, notoriety, a twisted sense of heroism and risk-taking. The lust for adventure leads down many paths, and not all of them are pretty, kid." Engelhorn walks off, leaving Billy by himself, still staring at the city and sunrise, questioning where he will go from here now that he's experienced the adventure he craved, and was left traumatized. Later, Kong is a big hit, but Broadway is actually out of the question since the theaters don't have any way to get Kong inside, so Denham comes up with a better plan. A couple of weeks later, a fair is in town with rides, games, a circus, etc. But the main attraction is Carl Denham's giant terror gorilla. This is no movie, the posters say. Before the show, we see Jack and Anne enjoying a date at the fair, playing games, winning prizes. We get a shot of Jack walking with an arm around Anne's arm as Anne eats some popcorn and smiles at him. They go on the Ferris wheel, and when on top, they look at the night sky and the Empire State Building, the amazing new building made by men for men. And Jack turns to her and says, "You know, it's really amazing the things we can do." They kiss at the top of the Ferris wheel with the Manhattan skyline behind them. The next day is their wedding. Later that night, it's finally time. Everyone gathers around the huge stage with a giant 25-foot curtain. The people wonder what's behind it. What's Denham up to this time? People are thinking. An old lady is reminded about the advertisement saying this is no movie, and in a bit of comedy she scoffs and says, "Oh, I thought I was going to see something," as she sits down, disappointed. "Well, it better be good," another man says behind her. "I paid $20. Before taking their places, Jack and Anne are greeted by Anne's old acting troupe. There's a heavy-set lady named Ruth, a blonde named Rose, a dark-haired man named Ernest, or Ernie for short, and an older blonde named Faye, played by Jessica Lange. Because although the 70s Kong wasn't critically acclaimed, she's still a living piece of the Kong legacy, and it would be great to have her make a cameo in the film. Not to mention she's named after the original Fay Wray. They talk and joke around a bit, but then the time comes for everyone to stand in their spots. Carl Denham comes out all dressed up with a big top hat and cane and fills the audience in on their story of love, loss, and adventure. He warns the audience members that if they have a heart problem and do not wish to be harmed from terror or amazement, they should leave now and get their money back. He also plays up US morale by stressing the fact that the beast they're about to see was tamed by an American gal. The crowd cheers and whistles and Anne blushes. Denham informs them that he was a king in his world, but now he appears to them in chains, merely a captive. Ladies and gentlemen, look at Kong, the 8th wonder of the world. The curtains go up, and there stands Kong with a metal setup that keeps him in chains with his arms up, staring at the gasping crowd, confused and frightened. As the excitement grows in the room, Kong begins to get more antsy as he begins to tug at his chains lightly. The audience stands back a bit, and Denham notices the tension in the room. He lifts his arm up and goes, Now, folks, there's nothing to fear." He animatedly points his finger at the shackles around Kong's arm. These shackles are made of chrome steel. He moves over and pets Kong's arm with his white Mickey Mouse-esque glove. Kong actually flinches, and Carl notices this and plays it up for comedy. Carl then reaches out to the audience, pointing towards Jack and Ann. I'd like to thank the two who, without their help, we wouldn't be here today. A couple that consists of two heroes. First, the man who hunted down the mighty Kong and rescued the girl, Mr. John Driscoll.